It's a beautiful Sunday morning. It's not early in the morning. When I got up about 6:30, it was -1. It's still going below freezing at night, but right now it's in the low double digits. There was a bit of a breeze coming from mostly the west. It's not cold, but it's certainly not a warm breeze. But today I thought I would come out here, bring my trusty InstantVap. This is the InstantVap Turbo. And I'm going to get a round of oxalic acid on these hives. I looked up my schedule what I did last year, and the reason for that is I believe my Varroa control worked quite well last year, and that was largely responsible for how well my, I was going to say my colonies, but these colonies at home didn't winter that well at all, but my nukes really did. So I think Varroa control definitely was a contributing factor, and a large one. And I like looking back at the vlogs. It's because it is exactly that. I don't necessarily always need to keep written notes, which I don't. The only written notes I keep, I write on the lids of the colonies. And so I looked back last year as to when I did my first oxalic acid vapor, and that was the 19th of April. And I think we're probably around that stage of development now, because we've had very cold weather, and we've got more cold weather coming up. The next 3 days is going to be cloudy, maybe rainy, and overnight lows slightly below freezing, and daytime highs, 5, 6 C, which is just kind of depressing. But it is what it is, and I thought today I can get out here. They say it's going to cool off and rain later today. But a high of 20 today, which is nice. I think 20 C is like 69 F or 70 F or something like that. So one thing I need to do before I can do oxalic acid vapor, I can't see the screen, but there's these colonies with the polystyrene. I need to take the front panel off of those so I can get the vaporizer in there. That's not a big deal. I've only got two. I've only got two really that are alive that I have to take that off. I think the other day I said that these two in the wooden boxes were wintered outdoors. They weren't. They were wintered indoors. So those are the two I checked on last week's video. So those were not wintered outdoors. I was being asked about the wintering success between yards and between polystyrene and wood. Polystyrene, I believe, in my experience, in my observations, is a benefit to the bees, but it's certainly not going to make up for, terrible beekeeping at all. The difference, because you could see the difference between these wooden ones that I checked, these wooden ones and these polystyrene ones that I checked, wasn't a huge difference. I think there was a difference, and I do notice a buildup rate difference in the season. But anyway, the big problem with the home yard didn't winter well at all. As I say, there's two here that have made it through the winter, and the big problem was these are all 25, these are all 2024 queens. So they need to be replaced, and I'm not surprised a lot of them didn't make it. The out yard had all 2024 queens, and it fared much better. And the nukes, they were all 2024 queens, and they were wintered indoors, so they were really good. These were wintered indoors, these little 6s, and those 10s were wintered indoors. So there's a lot of different profiles there. So to lump everything together into one wintering survivorship number, you can do that. That's fine. However, it's good to know what's what. And these nukes with the new queens in the polystyrene, wintered indoors, they're fantastic. They are fantastic. I know there's a couple here that are really big. Okay, I'm just going to go around here with my screw gun, take the entrance. Well, there's an entrance mouse guard on these, but there's also the polystyrene. And we'll try to do this without PPE. That's all I used for a mouse guard. Just a piece of 1/2-inch hardware cloth that's just kind of bent down at the bottom. And I had this screw with a washer just through the mesh into the box. Just a quick and dirty thing. I think it worked quite well, but apparently a shrew is smaller than that. Somebody didn't like that. I got stung in the face, just in the chin down here. Now, the polystyrene boxes and an oxalic acid vaporizer don't get along because the vaporizer tube and the bowl is hot. This vaporizer is pretty good because this is a guard. This is not the bowl. The bowl is inside here. There's a dead air space between, so it really doesn't get that hot, but still a bit. I know it gets hot here, and that tube definitely gets hot. So there is a nice little silicone tube you can put on that, but it tends to fall off on me and I lose it. I don't think I have one. I'm going to check though. And look what I found. I found that little tube. That just goes right on there. However, you can see it's just a little bit longer than the I don't know what you call that, the pipe, the tube. So I'm going to cut it off because I find that the oxalic acid will collect on it. I had somebody show me a vaporizer. They forget what they had. They had said made one or made a tube. Anyway, it was really long, and I said, well, you give that a try, but I don't think it's going to work because it'll just clog. Any more distance on this and the crystals just solidify again. All right. Okay, we got that covered. That's nice because for some of these, I can probably use my telescoping handle support. That support just goes right in the end of the handle, like that. It's very tight. There we go. And then it just turn it and it expands like that. So you can set this on the ones that are up top. I can adjust that and set it so that supports the vaporizer. I've got a selection of batteries here. Most of them are 5 amp, which you don't really want to use anything smaller than 5. Manufacturer recommends 6 as a minimum. I've found that 5 is pretty good. Okay, I want to show you this display. I'll bring that camera down and show you. There are a lot of features about these that I love, but one of the things I really love is that he's been careful to make the LEDs, this LED here, and the display bright enough that you can see it in daylight. And so I'm going to put the battery on this, and then you'll see the display light up, and it'll tell you some information. Total cycles, 143. It scrolled by. Oh, that was almost not in there. Let me do that again. So I haven't turned the unit on yet. I can see the LEDs, but I can't see the camera. Okay, so it's a little, the type is a little weird because it is a 7-segment display, so that's not made for text. Okay, so total cycles, 143. So that's kind of an odometer. You know, if you go to buy a turbo from somebody, you can click that battery, you can see how many cycles they've used that thing for. And also, I guess if you've got a crew, you can send them off and you can write down the odometer and then see how many they did when they come in. All right, so I'm going to stop talking. It says off here. I know it kind of strobes with the frame rate of the camera, but I'm going to turn that on. And so it says heaters on, it says. And then it says 20 and 21, 22. That's the temperature of the bowl. So it's warming up already. And then it cycles to 17.3 as well. And the 17.3 is the battery. So it tells me always what the battery voltage is. So that'll take a moment to warm up. I've got my dispenser here. I'm not going to flood these. They're pretty small. I'm going to go 2 grams. I'm going to go 2 grams on these. So that's right about there. It's hard to see the numbers, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4 grams. So that's good. Okay, so we're up to 240 degrees. And we're getting ready to treat, so I better get set up here. Just like that. So you see, that didn't take long. I just really am impressed with this little tool. This is well worth every penny you pay for it, really. And of course, it depends on how many colonies you have. if you've got 2 colonies, it might not be something that you want to spring for. They're not cheap, but they're not cheap, and they are very fast and efficient. And he's actually done something, the manufacturer has done something that I've never seen from anybody else. And what he's done is in developing this tool, he's run it at different temperatures, and he's analyzed the output, the amount of different acids that come out, because it's not just always oxalic acid. Vapor comes out, and honestly, it's not a vapor, but let's get past that. It can break down into CO2, which is not going to do, you know, anything to your varroa mites, and it can break down to formic acid, which, you know, can kill varroa mites, but I don't think is what you want in this case. So he's gone through that exercise and dialed in the temperature. So I don't have any inclination to mess with the temperature. And honestly, I got this one out. I got it in the acid, so etched it a little bit, but I'm going to put it away because there's no time for anything. When I was using 2 vaporizers, I had this extra applicator because I could leapfrog them and have one ready. But I was using the compacts, which were not as fast as this one. I really enjoyed the compacts. I was left wanting for nothing. But, you know, I don't know if I could use 2 turbos. It's so fast. I forget what the spec is on it. It was like 10 or 15 seconds for 2 grams. And yeah, sometimes you want to do more than that, but that's what I'm doing today, and it's really fast. All right, I'm going to go charge my batteries. It does use some batteries because it's a hotter chamber, I think. It's a bigger heater. It's a higher wattage heater. So it uses some batteries, but I'm going to go charge the batteries and get to the outyard if I can before I get stung. Thanks for watching.